extraño filmar afuera cuando uno es un extranjero. Entonces quise hacer una película con una chilena que venía a Portugal y creo que a mí lo que me interesa de las ciudades y que me llama la atención de Lisboa no son las cosas turísticas, sino una cosa extraña, un poco indescriptible, que tiene que ver con la gente, tiene que ver con cierta nostalgia, cierto misterio, que va más allá de lo que quizás a uno le pueden decir ver Lisboa. Tiene que ver con esos lugares como más alejados. Y por eso me interesó cruzar a Almada. Y eso.
I mean, for me, the experience of Lisbon's never been through a touristic experience, and it's through friends. And those friends took me to the nightlife of their life, and Finalmente and others. And I think that was the way I experienced Lisbon, was really outside of that circus. So that's basically where the characters took place and the mind.
Well, I think every filmmaker in the world would avoid the touristic. It's like it has to be a statement. You can just not do it. It's like. But at the same time, I think we're a bit the same. Like, we're not shy people, but at least I think we approach the project with a sort of humbleness. Like, I shot in this city and it was only my 6th visit. Why would I behave myself like a connoisseur, or why would I know much more than anybody else this city? But at the same time, I feel I was a visitor, so that's why I went towards ideas that has to do with tourism. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna find tourist guides. They know the city perfectly well. They can talk to you about their city for hours, but they have no friends. They are lonely in a city they know perfectly. So I thought it was, so that was my angle. So there's an aspect of tourism. Well, you saw the film. So there's an aspect of tourism, but it's more about suffering from solitude, but at the same time, you know the city by heart. So, but yeah, I guess we had to forget about the touristic. Could you believe sitting in a room introducing a film about Lisbon to a Lisbon audience and showing the tourist place? It makes no sense.
Vivo aqui, por isso não tenho bem essa atitude de turista, mas ao mesmo tempo eu tentei brincar um bocado com isso, e especialmente com o meu filme toma o formato de uma série de televisão que tem 2 publicidades, e uma delas é um trailer de um filme do Woody Allen, que é exatamente isso, os filmes turísticos em Roma, ou Paris, ou Barcelona, e o meu foi To Lisbon with Austerity, e que filme na ponte, nos Jerónimos, com os elétricos e todos as diversões mais emblemáticas do turismo lisboeta. Mas, no entanto, acho que, nós não queríamos bem vender a cidade, apesar de todos gostarmos da cidade, não era isso a ambição, e era mais divertir com isso.
The real cathedral. Not the real one. The real cathedral is Benfica Stadium. Benfica!
I guess my movie, went pretty far away from. It's mostly referencing, art house stars of the last 30 years or 40 years or something. And also it's in like a sort of format of a reality TV show from the States. My friend made a comment that my film, or my part of this film, is being shown in Sala Manel de Oliveira, and that it only took 1 month to disgrace his name.
No, I don't think we needed to pay homage to, because I think in Portugal you have sacred figures as filmmakers, and they're not only filmmakers, sometimes they are characters, so we cannot even approach the idea to paying homage to these people. They are way busy enough with themselves. Personally, I have a sequence from a Portuguese film, but first of all, I had to know that person to ask a permission because it was zero budget. So I called the guy, I know him, and I said, can I use a part of your film? I saw the film, I took my favorite part of the film, and it's not an homage. But yeah, I didn't feel the need or the weight on my shoulders to pay homage to Portugal. But yeah.
I feel inspired by the city, but through the people that I know and through the people that I love who are friends. And I think that gives a lot to the film in terms of being Lisbon and Portuguese and not being in Mexico or New York where I lived. It would be different characters and different emotions. And I think also the crew was Portuguese, which for me was fantastic because usually I work in New York, and so it was a very different way of working together, and at the same time very similar in the sense of the joy of the making. So I think it sips through, but it wasn't in my mind to absolutely be faithful or think. It's just more sipping into the city itself.
Para mí fue algo como muy espontáneo, creo que como dice Marie, se filtra la vida portuguesa, se filtra el cariño que uno le tiene a algunas personas en Portugal, a los lugares, pero no me sentía con ninguna responsabilidad ni con la cinematografía de Portugal, ni siento que tuviéramos ese peso. Joao Canillo está en las películas por una coincidencia, pues yo necesitaba un actor, entonces yo lo conocí en un festival y él estaba aquí y él quiso actuar. En general trabajo como con lo que tengo cercano. Entonces tenía cercana a mi mamá, tenía a Joao Canillo, no conocía más gente como más actores, conocía a Carlotto, que también. Entonces con la gente que yo conocía armé esta historia. Creo que habían algunas escenas claras en la película, pero estaba muy abierta a eso, a capturar lo que pasaba como entre medio de lo que yo tenía planeado. Entonces esos momentos de gente real son momentos reales que ocurrieron un poco como engañando, de buena manera engañando a la gente de ahí, pidiéndoles participar en el momento de una forma súper espontánea, porque me interesaba capturar eso, como la gente real de Lisboa, que es lo que a mí creo que me atrae más de la ciudad, más que la ciudad misma, como que después de que vuelvo, creo que es la gente lo que me atrae de esta ciudad. Entonces, sí, tenía muy pocas cosas claras en el guión, algunas escenas, y el resultado del corto son unos días pasando el tiempo con un equipo pequeño. Actúa la mamá de una de las personas de mi equipo que quiso participar, encontrándonos con gente en la calle preguntando si querían participar.
Because I was reading about Lisbon, and then I was reading about how the 7 hills were built. And there was the goddess, she created some of the hills also, and I was looking through that because it was all animal goddesses. And in a way, when I met Fernando, the main character, I wanted him to become the inspiration for the animal through the film, and the animal that created the city and kind of transformed everything. And at the same time, that's how I ended up in the Natural History Museum. And I met Pedro, the taxidermist who was there, who totally... I went there 5 times and everyone told me there was no taxidermy. And I said, yeah, there is. And finally I met him in the hall and he said, yes. And then I got every open doors to his magical drawers. And I worked with him, and so for me that was the inspiration also, going through meeting Pedro and working with the museum to really go through it.
It's true that I think in that film you can recognize me with the framing and everything, but when I have a lot of budget, I want to prepare everything because there's 25 people working with me and I'm responsible for all these people, so they should not waste their time, and I should be prepared. When I work with, let's say, zero money, we had zero money, it's much more interesting to try things. And when you call a band like Red Trio and their job is to improvise jazz, it has to be somewhere in your structure. So there's a hybrid in that film is very, very super written and this improvisation. So I like the confrontation between the two. I hope it works. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna do that, maybe I'm not, But yeah, I'm still, even me, when I look at the film, I'm trying to not understand it, but it's the story of two solitary person, and they're attracted to each other by a third element, improvised jazz music. And is there a way for these three entities and three forces to meet in the center? I don't know. That's what we tried to do. I don't know if they really meet at that crossroads, but that was my laboratory, my experience, so you tell me if it works.
Well, Phelps is a really good friend, and I relate a lot to the things he says in his film criticism, the attitude sort of that he has, especially like you say, relating to pop film or engaging pop film on the same level as auteur cinema or something. And it came more naturally, like what Marie was saying about making her movie here. It's just we were spending time together, and he's come a bunch to Portugal, and he started giving more and more input to other films. And so for this one, it actually started with him being in it as an actor before writing, and then he decided to come in more intensely as a co-author. And my I think the reason it works is he's sort of a dictionary or encyclopedia of classic film tropes and sort of stock characters and stock structures from romantic comedies or something. So I might have had a sort of flimsy structure, and he's like, you'll do this and this, and you put you've got to be led astray by another girl. Like, that's what happens in movies. And so that became the movie in a certain way. And he's got these quick ways to grab some sort of language from older cinema and paste it onto some of the looser ideas I have, which I think worked really well. And since also the film is is made as a parody of other genres, a lot of his film knowledge and TV show knowledge also really informed that in a really good way. And then I don't know, he's just a friend, and like all the other collaborations I've made, it's just you start hanging out and you want to make something, and you say, let's go make something.